Is it okay now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay. Hello, guys. Very good evening to all. So we are in the middle of the week, little busy with our time schedules. So before we begin, I would like to start today's session with a thought from Lord Buddha. The mind is everything. So what you think, you become. So as a researcher, scholar, lifelong learner, this quote reminds us that research starts not from data, but from our mind. So a curious mind leads to the questions shapes to ideas, and ideas evolve into meaningful research. So, with that positive mindset, I warmly welcome you all to day three of our 10-day international virtual faculty development program on research methodology, statistical tools, and structural equation modeling, organized by the Department of Corporate Secretariat, shift to Agachan Manuel Jain College, Chennai. So it's wonderful to see you all joining again with the same spirit and same consistency and the same enthusiasm. So thank you for being here. So once again, good evening, guys. This is Pradeepa Nagarajan, your host for today's session, joining you virtually and happy to guide you through this program. So let us begin this session with a moment of devotion and gratitude. So I request everyone to kindly join us with in Jain Mahamantra followed by Tamitai Vaitu. Thank you all for joining us. And to begin today's proceedings, may I now request Dr. Karthikeyan, Assistant Professor, Department of Corporate Secretaryship, to kindly deliver the welcome address and to introduce today's resource person. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. With profound respect, I extend an official welcome to our esteemed dignitaries whose unwavering support and academic leadership continue to illuminate initiative of this statue. It is a privilege to acknowledge our Secretary, Sri Udan Kumar Chordia, and our Associate Secretary, Sri Hemant P. Chordia, whose visionary direction and steadfast encouragement from the foundation upon which academic progress flourishes. I also express sincere appreciation to our principal, Dr. B. Mahavir, whose leadership continually inspires an environment of excellence and innovation, and, our, and to our Vice Principal, Dr. S. Ananthakrishnan, whose guidance strengthens institutional growth and academic discipline. I further acknowledge our Director, Dr. N. Venkatramanan, whose commitment to research and scholarly development elevates the standard of this program, and our Dean, Dr. M. Ramya, whose academic stewardship nurtures intellectual empowerment and collaborative learning. With equal reverence, I recognize our Deputy Dean, Dr. R. Sureka, whose constant support and administrative insight contribute profoundly to the smooth execution of academic initiative. And I extend heartfelt appreciation to the convener of this FDP, Dr. M. Kaveri, facilitator and assistant professor, whose dedication, meticulous planning, and tireless efforts have shaped this program with exceptional precision and purpose. With utmost privilege, we now proceed to the introduction of our esteemed chief guest, and it is my honor to invite attention as I present the academic profile. It is a distinguished honor to introduce our esteemed chief guest of the today, Dr. J. Sabitha, Associate Professor and Research Supervisor in the Department of Commerce at SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram campus. An accomplished academician whose scholarly journey reflects exceptional dedication and intellectual depth. Having been awarded her doctorate in commerce from Manonmanim Sundaranar University in November 2015, she stands as a remarkable educator with over 25 years of extensive teaching experience, shaping generation of scholars with unwavering commitment to academic excellence. An inspiring university rank holder in MCS and an accomplished author with 4 books to her credit, she also has demonstrated impressive scholarly productivity with over 25 research publications across reputed national and international journals, including UGC, Scopus, Web of Science, and ABDC indexed journals. She has organized 5 conferences and actively enriched academic fraternity through 16 FDP engagements. Her profound expertise, research acumen, and leadership in academic contributions continue to make her a respected and influential personality in the field of commerce and research. And it is our privilege to learn from her insights today. Thank you for accepting our invitation, ma'am. The stage is yours, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Karthikeyan. Thank you for the nice introduction, and thank
Thank
you
you,
for the
ma'am.
organizing committee also, and also good start for the Pradeepa ma'am also. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
yes, sir. Shall we
So,
start the session, sir? Kindly share the
yeah,
slide, sir.
sure. So, dear audience, dear participants, please stay tuned, listen carefully, and feel free to drop your questions in the chat box as the session is going to progress. Ma'am, the session is yours now.
Yes, yes. So, dear learned professors, so this is here the third day, I think so. The literature review topic we are going to discuss the continuity of the research methodology. So, while talking about many, that is, we are all learned professor in the academic, we all gone through many FDPs. Repeatedly, the research methodology of FDP is going on yearly as well as in one semester, 1 and 2, and is going on, and they are conducting by many colleges and universities. But now, in today's scenario, whether we are all doing the research properly or not, that is my only question. So while simply talking about what is called as literature review and what is called a research, we should understand what is clearly we have to do. So the planning of action is very important with regard to the literature review. So in today, many researchers have involved in, we have chat GPT and AIs and everything is there. And the researcher are mostly concentrated in, that is statistical tools, what the tools can be applied in the research. So before going to step into that, they have to have the clear idea what is called as literature review. So literature review is nothing but it is simple. So if you're going and visiting a film, after visiting the film or picture, many of us is giving some introductions, whether A, B, C, D. We are not having the same thoughts. So likewise, so once if you're selecting that, we have to, regarding with the topic, we should have the clear idea. So what are the existing? think regarding with the topics, what they have given the discussion, what is the plus and minus points are there. So that is called as a review of literature. Let me enter into this topics. So let me discuss what are the things can we do newly. So my agenda today is introduction, a purpose of a literature review, evaluation of literature review methodologies, types of literature reviews, steps to conduct a literature review, and how to write a review of literature. So here I'm going to explain with an example what and all is going to be done in regarding with the literature review. So next slide, sir. Yes, a literature review is a critical analysis and synthesis of existing research on a specific topic, providing context, identifying gaps, and establishing a foundation for new research. A literature review is a comprehensive overview of all the knowledge available on a specific topic. It surveys existing studies, analyzes their findings, and summarizes the current state of research. This process helps researchers understand the broader academic conversation surrounding the topics and their work within their context. So, what do you mean by this introductions? So, whether the researcher has to first study very detailedly about the topic. So, after framing the topic, they should analyze the topic very clearly. So, where to search for the review, whether right part, which is the right part to search for the review. So that is the main important thing regarding with the literature of review. The next. So the next is very important thing. What is the purpose of literature? Why we have to do this? Simply we can put in anything in the chat box, will get whatever the thing ChatGPT are going to do. Why this is? We have to do this literature review as purpose or not? What is the purpose? So once if you've done a literature review purposely, very particular regarding your topic, see in future also you can guide many students. So that is why this is the very impact. If you're not doing the research properly in this area, then we can't able to, we or whatever, whoever it is, can't able to guide the next generation. So to avoid that, to have the knowledge, this purpose is very, very important. Number one is establish context. It shows the current state of research in the field and provides the background information necessary for understanding the research problem. So that is what is you're going to do with this? What is you're going to find newly? When compared to other person, what is new thing you're going to do? That is, you should have a clear idea. Even I, from my experience, I used to advise to the scholars also, whatever it is the topic, you first convert the topic into your mother language, whether it's Tamil, English, Hindi, whatever it is. Because only the mother language giving the right essence what you are going to do in the research. It doesn't mean you should do only in the English, you should understand. It is in the English, whatever the language, it is like a tool. How SPS package is there like a tool. But first you have to understand the researcher, what is the actual thing you're going to do with the research problem. The topic is very much important, and once if you convert to the mother language, you can understand what is actually going to do. So if you once clear with this part, you have a right path and you have a mapping will be there where you have to reach. So that is the first thing. And next is identify gaps. So we all know what is called as research gap. That is, always literature review highlights areas that need further investigations. See, we used to frame the topic. In the topic already, some of the researchers have done their work. Then what new you're going to do? That is called as a identify the gap, what is called as a research gap. So whether you're finding the research gap or not, whether we are finding the proper research gap or not. So what the previous person missed, that is you're going to find out. That is called as a research gap. It is basically that is a basically investigation. So that is for this part also we have to go through various articles, books. Here today generations, they are all lagging to read the book. So there are enormous resources available in many libraries. The books are having rather than chat GPT. Then many AIs now come. The books is not the AI is not sufficient for the books. There is no replacement for books at all. Because since today generation researchers are not have the habit to visit to the library. Once they visit to the library, If you read, automatically have the habit of writing what the publication papers, how to write and all. So that is the main thing regarding with the that is identify the gaps. And next is support research goals. So what is support research goals? That is, after you identify the problem, after you are finding out the research gap, you have to make the knowledge to be improved regarding with the research topic. So you're going to build a new study. So newly what you're going to give to the society, what is you're going to present in your thesis. So that is called as the support research goals. And next, a prevent rendering. What is this? That is already the researcher have done one work. We should not duplicate the work. So still many researchers have now facing the problem in the duplications of things. So kindly I request all the researchers, don't make duplications of studies. So if you avoid that, it will be very easy for you while presenting the viva. So kindly avoid duplications. So if once you sit and thorough with your study, so the duplication will be avoided. So that is the main thing regarding to the prevent rendering. The next. So this is the evaluation of literature review methodologies. Now we are following this a traditional manual review. So the traditional manual review. So we all know went to the library. Many IIMs are there. We have many institutions are there. Here Chennai we have many libraries are there. And now the AI driven review is there. Sitting in one place with the system, the research is over. And human AI collaborative review is there. So now apart from that, we have many areas are there. That is, we have Lincoln, many sources are there. Through the e-sources, we are all chatting with the peoples. We are sharing the information. And this AI collaborative reviews, now the FDP is also one of the AI collaborative review. It is a live example. So AI driven, we have many apps are there. So once if you're putting your topic, you'll get many information is there. So the machine will do what the machine will do. The thinking process will have to done by the human beings. So the researchers. Next. So these are all simply called as the types of literature reviews. Number one is narrative or additional literature review. This is it is without a specific research question. They have to be discussed very broadly, and they will make come to conclusions. That is called as a traditional or narrative. A systematic literature review. It is a very structured process. They will collect, then evaluate, and they will summarize relevant studies aiming to answer a focused research question. This is very important. Whether in our research we are following the systematic literature review, whether you are following a structural process to collect. So if this area is very proper, then our research will be end with good results. And other is called as a thematic literature review. So the thematic literature review means it is around specific themes or topics providing insight into a particular aspect of research. So now many of us is involved in consumer behavior and consumer perception, social media, and many things is there. So what is the main thing is marketing. So many of the researchers are very much involved in marketing. Here, India only, we much go on the same discipline. In many other countries, they have started to research with various discipline. So the commerce will have a discipline with the journalism. The commerce will have the mixed discipline with econometrics, mixed discipline with maths. So like that, they are all going on. So the topic is also changing. It is not that every topic should be start with a study on. You can give an open topic also. So this is regarding with the a thematic literature review. Here I given the examples also. Next, sir. So the next is steps to conduct a literature review. So number one is define research focus. So we have to clearly outline the specific topic and scope of the review. So many researchers are struggling in streamline the topic, whether they have going to whether they are going to start the research with the primary source or they are going to start with the secondary source, which is important. So whether they have to mention the area particularly, they are going to do the research in a very particular area. This are all should be defined properly while formulating the topic itself. And then only the focus will be clearly clearly mapped. And next is called as find and gather sources. That is, find and gather sources is the two ways how you're collecting the databases. So whether you're collecting the databases or through some other sources you're collecting the databases, or through some other persons you're collecting databases. It is not at all related, but it should be collected according to your topics and it should be related to your research. That is very important. And assess source quality. So what is source quality? That is, the review is based on valid evidence. So while you're making the research, if somebody is now all the thesis is coming on the online, so anybody can ask any questions. You have to justify that. Your thesis will give the answer for that, whether it is having the very thorough valid evidence is there. Just like that, for commerce and it is not a matter and all, because we are not from any medical or law, any law field. In the commerce we are very free to give any conclusions and interpretations, but it should have good evidence. And next, synthesized findings, that is, the findings should be very much analyzed and it should be identifying patterns will be there. That is called as synthesized findings. And next is called as a final thing, the draw conclusions. That is, what is your concluded from the previous findings, what you are going to give for your future research, and how it is related to your study. So it is like a roadmap. We have to fix this review of literature. Next. So the next is always we'll have $1,000,000 question: how to write a review of literature in research. That is, literature review is a critical summary actually. That is not an easy thing we have to write, because many of the researchers and them even writing the paper also, we are all forget how to write. So always we are making use of cut, copy and paste. So that is why we are all losing how to write and all. So once if you are losing the habit of writing, and there the thinking is also missing. So at the last, we are going to struggling of quality research papers and quality research. So that is why the existing is a specific topic. We have to be step by step. We have to make a writing, or we have to have a habit of writing what we are observed. And number one is define your purpose and scope. Search for relevant literature. Organize and evaluate sources. Structure your review. Write clearly and concisely. Revise and proofread. So this is the main important step is there. So that is, writing is not, it is only if everyone is having with us laptops and system. Yes. So in the system and laptop also we have to write, not making any cut, copy or paste. Next. So here, that is, I'm giving the example. With the example, I'm going to define and we are going to complete this session. That is, general speaking of the other topics and all, you people are well known about the review of literature. So the number one step is define your purpose and scope. So what is the purpose here? The clarity why you are conducting the review, and is to identify gaps, provide context and justify your research. This is the basic thing. So what is the scope will be? Narrow down your focus to specific themes, time periods or methodology relevant to your research. So this is very, very important. Time period is very important and identify gaps is very important. So here I given the purpose. That is, for example, I given the example here. I am conducting a literature review to identify research gaps in understanding how social media marketing influence purchase decision among millennials in the e-commerce sector. Here, I want to justify, my goal is to justify my own research on Instagram's impact on fashion, retail, marketing, purchase behavior. So here I given the example, that is, I'm doing the research in social media, then where I have to search? So that is the main thing. In which area I have to search, I have to get the review of literature. So I'm going to search regarding with the social media activities. Everything is available in the Instagram or wherever it is. So what is the scope here? Here I've segregated. The theme is the social media marketing and consumer behavior. So who is the segment here? A millennials consumer or segment. So how the millionaires will be 25 between 40. The next, where I'm going to focus, in which area? I'm going to focus in e-commerce and retail sectors. Then what is the time period? I'm just given the example. It is 2015 to 23. That is a social media commerce era where it is started. Then what is the platform I'm going to do? That I have to give a clarity. That is the main purpose. So my platform is I'm going to search the information in Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and many visual platform is there. Now it is many like this. Many platforms are there. Then, so what methodology I'm going to use regarding with this topic? Consumer surveys, experimental studies, and the data analysis I'm going to do. So the sales data, consumer surveys, and experimental studies. So these are the thing I'm going to use to get the right information for my regarding topic. So how the continuity will be there. So this focused scope ensures my review directly supports my planned research on Instagram marketing effectiveness in fashion commerce. So my theme is fashion retail purchasing behavior. So how I'm covering this. So like this only I've given the example just to explain clearly what we have to do. So that is the first step is regarding with define your purpose and scope. So simply giving a theory part or a theory or delivering information is not the enough. So that is why I'm giving with example. So just we have to understand what we have to do. So that is the first step is regarding with define your purpose and scope. The next, then the next step is search for relevant literature. The same example I'm traveling. So what I'm going to do the next step. So use academic database like PubMed, Google Scholar, or Gesture to find credible sources. Include journal articles, books, and credible reports. Focus on recent and highly cited works unless older studies are fundamentals. Since many the media, social media platforms are more, so you can switch over for that also. So here I given the example regarding with the topic what they can do. So the search strategy, please see the yellow thing. Database will be you can take from Google Scholar, Business Source, and Gesture. So here what I'm going to do with the keywords. The keywords will be social media marketing and purchase behavior and millennials. So like this you have to find the keywords. The next additional term what you're going to use it. The Instagram commerce, social commerce and consumer decision journey, influencer marketing. So if you make this means before completing the thesis you can publish 3 or 4 to 5 papers if you detailedly segregate like this, if you used to like this, making the review of literature, then you will be coming as an expert in writing the papers. So, what is the focus sources found here? I've given the example. Number one, while collecting itself, you have to make this listed down. It will be very easy for you at the end of the thesis. So, I've given the reference, the quality study on Instagram, consumer survey on Smith and Thompson 2021, Johnson 2022, and Davis 2018. You can't go for many years. At least you'll take 5 to 10 years is more than enough. So what is here I'm concluding? I'm here focusing on recent studies from the commerce on who, including Davis 2018 as a functional work, and it is in social media purchasing behavior. What are the patterns they have followed? So what are the patterns they have followed? I'm taking this. So this is the example, the continuity of the fashion purchasing behavior. I'm discussing with step by step. So here the second part we have to make the clarity where the source you're going to search, where you're going to get the information, what are the reference of thing. Next. The next step is organize and evaluate sources. So what is organize and evaluate sources? So the first thing is categorize. Group studies by themes, methodologies or finding. What all you're going to do? You have to group that. Critically evaluate the quality, the relevance and credibility of each source. Whether it is right, it is okay, it is correct, it is from the right source or it is already from any cut copy or paste. And we have to be check the bias and limitations and contribution to the field. That is very, very important. We have to check the bias and limitations. Now because many AIs is there, we have to be checked properly. So here I've given the example under that you see in the yellow thing. So how I am going to categorize by theme, how I'm categorized. So group A, we are going to categorize with the specific impacts. Then consumer psychology. Then group C, effectiveness analyze. Then group D, foundational theories. So by taking the previous research references, I'm segregate the review of literature like this. And next, what is called as the critical evaluation. Here, based on the author, I given the evaluation, that is empirical data from 10,000 users. This is a limited up to platform you have given. Then Johnson, you see the broad industry coverage but lacks granular platform specific insights. So I'm taking the essence, what is the evaluation has been made of. So then it is easy for writing the review of literature. So this is a reference I've taken. I grouped into groups and then I'm going to consolidate what is the concerned persons giving the review. What is there is there. I'm just going to take the essence of the choose. And here, what is I'm continuing? So it is organized studies and I can identify where my research on Instagram specific fashion would fill important on gaps. So here I can find out the gaps. Next. So then after collecting these tips, how I'm going to structure your review? That is very, very important. So I'm segregating, I'm grouping, I'm collecting the sources, and I also have the references. According to the reference, I'm grouping. So next, what is the last part? How I'm going to structure my review. So they explain the topic, importance and objectives of the review. Next, body. They organize the discussion uh, thematically or chronologically, compare and contrast studies, highlight trends and identify the gaps. So once if you study only properly all the reviews, you can come to a conclusion to identify the gaps. So without that, if you identify the gaps will be a great problematic at the end of the thesis. So that is why many tools are not applicable to the review as well as for the thesis. That is the data what you are collecting. It should be based on the reviews only. So once if you're making the reviews properly, the identify the gap will be proper. So if the research gap is not proper, it is not clear with you, then there will be struggling at the end of the completing the thesis. So today many scholars are only struggling on this area. If they are like, just switch over this. If they are not properly constant structure of review, if you are not constant in review, it is very highly complicated to fix this data in the databases. The next is here I given the example, the transformation. So after collecting all the informations, I given the example, the transformations of social media from communications platforms to commerce channels. So this is the review literature examine the current research and how the social media marketing influence millennial purchasing behavior. So this is the introduction I'm giving after making all the reviews. Next. So this is a thematic organization. I given number 1, team 1, platform specific marketing effectiveness. And I have segregated team 2, millennial consumer psychology. Then I'll segregated team 3, ROI measurement and analytics. Then I'll come to the conclusions. So here I have given all this variation in consumer response across different social media platforms. And see here, I given mention the references. I've given example. I've taken what the references, Glenn and Kim and Thompson 2021. Based on that, if you have to write like this. However, the comprehensive cross-platform comparison with fashion related remain limited. So like this, we have to give the explanation. So not what the information they are given. From the information what you are gathered, that is you have to be provided in the review of literature. And theme 2, I've given the example of billionaire consumer psychology. The studies of billionaire purchase is a relieve unique characteristics in social media context. So 2019, they have given this generations prefer for authentic content creates both opportunities and challenges for fashion brands seeking leverage social commerce. Then I've segregated theme 3. So ROI measurements and analytics, that is, it is I've taken the references of Johnson 2022, what he said, it must be that is existing research on aggregated rather than the platform specific component type analysis. So we are taking one topic, based on the topic we have to segregate it, and based on the segregated topic we have to give the conclusions. So the conclusion what is, I've given the example, the conclusion, The reviewed literature established social media significant influence on consumer purchase behavior, but reveals critical gaps in understanding platform specific effectiveness. So, that is, most studies either aggregate multiple platforms and focus on general social media's impact without existing the unique characteristics. So, here what I do, see the continuity. That is, here I given the structure flows logically from a general e-commerce trends to specific platforms and gaps clearly showing how my research will contribute new insights. That is the main thing, what I'm finding. So this is the continuity. Next. 6. Write clearly and consistently. That is very, very important. That is, write clearly means what? What you are going to say, it is very much important. For example, if you go on asking one address with any outsider, if you're giving the right address, you will be go and search for the right thing and you will achieve your destination. If you're not getting the right directions, how are you going to reach your destination? Same thing now, many apps are there in Ola and Rapido. You are putting the direction properly only, they will reach the destination. If you are not putting the direction properly, you will go for reach for some destination. The same thing will be applied here also. So we have to have a clearly and consistently what is there. So you use clear and academic knowledge. So knowledge and academic knowledge, language is very, very important. So using the language is nothing but the language should be giving a clear idea and you have to give the clear meaning. And even putting the extras, even putting commas, it is also playing a vital role in writing this. Avoid summarizing each study individually, since the information to show connections and patterns. So you have to have the connectivity, and connectivity is very, very important. And next, cite all sources properly using the required citation style. You all know APA and MLA and Chicago, and all know that is you people well known about this citations also. So I have given here the poor good example, and I have given here a poor example also. See the good example. So in the instant of speaking many things regarding with the review of literature, if you see the example, you can understand what is actually. So I'm given the example, that is, collectively, these studies indicate the social media platforms has become significant purchase drivers through effectiveness, the platform type, and the format and product category. So this is the good example with the language I've given. What will be the poor? Many of the things are there. The poor example I given. Chen found Instagram on this. The Johnson study ROA. Thompson looked at fashion trends, and many that is uh, repeat consumers. So like this, I'll be edited in some of the publications in editorial board. I've seen the references like this only. It is a very live example I've taken this. So like this, you can't write this. You have to give very clarity and consistently. You have to be put your effect on writing. It's a very live example. Many of the publications paper have seen this in the editorial board. The paper like this only the references. Next, here the citations AP style. I've given the example. See this APA style citation example. Millennium Consumer Behavior, Social Commerce Environment, and Consumer Research Review. This is an example I given. So what is the thing I'm completing here? By synthetic findings across studies, I demonstrate the current state of knowledge while highlighting where the connections between platforms specifically and industry applications are missing. So then you have to move to the next part. The next. The last is called as revise and proofread. So this is very, very important. That is, ensure logical flow and coherence, check for grammatical errors and proper formatting, confirm that all sources are accurately cited. So this is very, very important. That is, once if you are making this very clearly, while going for bibliography at the end of the thesis, it is very easy for us. So if you're missing this, then we have to search again one time for bibliographic. So many of the researchers are struggling that only. Bibliographic separately, they'll again doing the research. So if it is a good researcher, you can complete the work here itself. So the logical flow and grammatical error is very, very important. Even sometimes the apps are doing the mistakes. So the grammatical is very, very important. And even one yes apostrophe is also is changing the entire meaning of the thesis. And whether they accurately the sources where you search, it is all very evidential proof you have, it is very right, and everything used to be checked properly. So what will be the revision checklist will be there. So number one, introduction clearly state the commerce focus and millennial consumer segment and carry out the same topic for all the example. And body sections flow logically from the platform analyze to consumer behavior to ROA. And next, APA formatting is considering for all business journals, etc. Then grammar and spelling check for the professional presentation. So it's very, very important. The grammar errors and grammatical errors and proper formatting is very, very important. Next. So this is the final continue to check. That is, what is the thing we have to make? That is the entire commerce focus review, the works, conceivably the specific thing defined in step 1, millennials, fashion, e-commerce and visual platforms. The step 4 communicates with the professional clarity in step 5 and meets academic business standards in step 6. So it is the basic thing. What is the result will be there? A professional commerce literature review that it establishes the business importance of social media marketing, synthesize current knowledge across academic and industry sources, identify specific gaps with practical business implications, and justify the proposed research on Instagram fashion marketing, provides context in investigating platform, then demonstrate the understanding of both consumer behavior and marketing effectiveness. So we are taking that. So that is only we are getting the result from the review of literature. So this commerce examples show how each step builds naturally towards a review that serves both academic rigor and business relevance. So creating a strong foundation for research that can genuinely contribute to marketing knowledge and practice. Here, genuinity is very, very important. So what research is nothing but re-research. So to not to do research, it is re-research. Already one person is doing the research. What newly we are going to find out? So many comments are there. The commerce or nothing newly can be done. It only it is going for marketing. Even marketing now new trends are being there. We can formulate a new topics, not on the old topics. So you can give a new names. So how now the millenniums, Gen sector we are giving like that we can frame a new topics. So the guides have to give the good idea, and the same the research scholars have to have a new idea to frame a new topic. So first the topic should be framed properly with the new ideas where we are there in generation. That is very, very important. The next. Thank you. So I hope you have understand what is research I have given with the example. Any questions?
Ma'am,
Yes.
that was very a good session. So thank you so much, ma'am, Dr. Sabitha, Associate Professor from
Thank you, ma'am.
SRM, for such a clear, insightful, and meaningful session. I think many of us are now seeing literature review not as a challenge, but as a system, a process, and maybe even a story we must understand before we write our own, isn't
Yes.
it? So, but ma'am, if literature review were explained the way it was today, I'm sure many of the research scholars would sleep more peacefully and submit faster, isn't it? So, we
Ma'am.
will now move to the question answer session. So, dear participants, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box or raise your hand. Any questions? The participants can unmute yourself to ask questions or you can post in the chat box.
No questions, ma'am. It was a very wonderful session.
Oh, thank you, sir. So all the credit goes to our resource person, Dr. Sabitha, Associate Professor from the Department of Accounting and Finance, SRM. Okay, ma'am. Um,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
no questions?
Yes, I would like to thank to the management, AMGN College, And I have to give my special thanks to Karthikeyan sir to give me these opportunities. And thank you for you, ma'am, also. And also thank you for the participants. Very politely they are watching and they're giving the good comments also. I'm very happy. Thank you.
That's for sure, ma'am. On
Thank
behalf
you,
of
ma'am.
the Department of Corporate Secretariat, we also thank the convener, our convener, Dr. M.
Yeah.
Kaveri, facilitator, and assistant professor in the
And you're
Department of
that's
Corporate
I
Secretariat.
should have to give the great appreciation for the organizing committee also.
Yes, that's
Yes,
true.
I know because I've conducted many FDPs. I know the
Yes,
challenges
ma'am.
how we are
Well
facing after
said.
the working hours.
Yes, very,
Really, it should
very
be
true.
appreciated.
Yes, ma'am. So that's in order to benefit for the academicians and especially to the research scholars so
Yeah.
that they can gain an insight knowledge. So this is why the main motto of organizing such an FDP. So anyway, so thanks a lot, ma'am. So
Thank you, ma'am.
yes. So before we conclude, we would love to take a virtual smiling group photo. So may I request everyone to please turn on your cameras with a smile for a few seconds so that we can capture this learning moment together.
Even myself also.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. So everyone please switch on your cameras with a smile, with your beautiful smile.
Thank you, ma'am.
Karthikeyan sir, is it over? Okay, that's lovely.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I said to
Yes,
myself,
yes. Thank you.
well, thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay. So we now request everyone to fill out the feedback form shared in the chat box. And as usual, so your feedback is very, very important and required for receiving your certificate. So please take a moment to complete it. Okay. Now, to formally acknowledge and appreciate everyone behind today's successful session, I now invite my colleague, Dr. B. Karthikeyan, Assistant Professor, to deliver the vote of thanks. Sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. It is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on the meaningful occasion as we bring to conclusion of day 3 of online international FDP on research methodology, statistical tools, and structural equation model. And I extend my sincere gratitude to our respected Secretary, Shri Udan Kuchurdia, for his inspiring guidance that consistently strengthens academic development, followed by heartfelt thanks to our Associate Secretary, Shri Hemant Pichurdia, for his continuous encouragement and strong support for research-oriented initiative. And I offer respectful appreciation to our principal, Dr. B. Mahavir, for his motivating leadership and constant academic reinforcement. And I record my thanks to our Vice Principal, Dr. S. Anantakrish, for his valuable guidance and administrative support that enhanced the smooth conduct of this program. And I acknowledge with gratitude our Director, Dr. N. Venkatramanan, for his constructive direction and positive involvement. And I appreciate the contribution of our Dean, Dr. M. Ramya, for her supportive role and academic coordination. And I thank our Deputy Dean, Dr. R. Surek, for her consistent administrative assistance, which ensured seamless arrangements. And I convey my special thanks to our convener, Dr. M. Kaveri, for her dedicated efforts and meticulous planning that shaped the success of this FDP. And with deep respect, I extend warm appreciation to our distinguished resource person, Dr. J. Sabitha, Associate Professor and Research Supervisor, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram campus, for an insightful session and valuable academic contribution that enriched the learning experience today. And I express admiring and sincere thanks to our Master of Ceremony, Dr. N. Pradipa, Assistant Professor, Department of Corporate Secretaryship, whose composed presentation, effective coordination enhanced the flow and engagement of today's proceeding. And I thank all the participants, research scholars, and faculty members, technical staff, and supporters whose involvement and cooperation transformed this program into a successful academic accomplishment. And with a sense of fulfillment, I conclude with the hope that this intellectual journey will open new avenues of research collaboration and continued academic growth. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you,
Okay.
Dr. J. Sabitha, ma'am.
Yes, thank
So,
you, ma'am.
well, here is a fun fact that researchers spend more time planning research than actually completing it. But don't
Yes.
worry, we all are in same boat.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with that, we officially conclude day three of our FDP. So, I convey my thank you, dear participants, for your wonderful engagement and patience and presence. So, this is Pradeepa Nagarajan signing off with a smile and take care, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing all again at tomorrow 5:45 p.m. for another enriching session. So, wishing you all a calm and peaceful evening. Thank you all.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.